Hi and Assalamualaikum. So, we will learn about zone of proximal development. So let's start with the introduction.
Let's look at the introductions of Michael-Long's interactions and ZPD. In this context, interaction is being referred to as interaction between the native speaker as the language teacher and non-native speaker as the language learner. Earlier, Krashen's introduced Krashen input hypothesis. Long agreed to Krashen's input hypothesis, but he stresses on the importance of modified input as he believes that conversation and interaction play a major role to help language learners to construct their own learner language. Let's look into ZPD. ZPD is known as two-folded concepts. The first fold assesses children's intellectual potential within their natural capabilities under a condition that is specifically tailored to meet the children's learning needs, while the second fold is a process where children's intellectual growth is developed through social interaction that allows children to engage in advanced cognitive activity with their skilled partners.
Let's move to the 4 stages in the zone of proximal development. The first one is assisted performance. The first stage occurs when a youngster is first learning a new topic or skill and seeks assistance from someone with more expertise than he has. For instance, from instructors, parents, or a coach. The second stage is unassisted performance. As a child gains understanding of a new subject or skill, she progresses to the second stage in which she performs tasks independently. The third stage is automation. In the third stage, a student's knowledge has progressed to the point where performance is automatic and complete. Expert advice and guidance is not required or needed. Next is the automation. The fourth and final stage usually happens later in life when the learners become adult and lose the capacity to perform proficiently. At that moment, she must repeat the growth process in order to regain the informations and abilities she has lost.
Now let's have a look at the weaknesses of ZPD. Firstly, for the learner, it doesn't apply to all social or cultural groups. For example, people with learning difficulties or social disorders may not be able to learn as effectively through social interactions, especially in peer-to-peer context. Next, for the educator, it is quite hard to implement properly. It is because it requires instructors to access individual student zones and develop individually tailored tasks, which is a very time-intensive method. Lastly, for the learner and educator aspect, the interaction in the classroom is controlled by social class hierarchy. In this situation, a teacher will have more power over the students in their interaction, and this will lead to negative sanctions if the student fails to conform to the teacher.
The examples of classroom practices for scaffolding is by using sensory. For example, visual elements, manipulatives, visual aids, and modeling. The next one is graphic. For example, the teachers can use mind maps, graphic organizers, and guidance. And lastly, the teachers also can use interactive element. For example, using the Think, Pair, Share activity, the jigsaw groups, and the tried and true methods. The teachers need to know that the different support in instruction of a teacher can help students, especially language learners, to effectively engage with grade level objective and content.
In conclusion, the concept of zone of proximal development and scaffolding are known to help learners to learn new skills efficiently. This is why we often see both concepts apply in various subjects. The applications of zone of proximal development concept in classroom is especially encouraged during early childhood phase, as the learner's brain development is known to be at the highest rate. Teachers and instructors should be aware that the goal in ZPD-oriented class is not to feed the learners the answers directly, instead, to provide aids that will slowly be reduced throughout the learning process. It is important that the instructor to be able to identify the learner's ZPD level before planning the learning process to avoid mismanagement issues. Last but not least, the lesson plan should also focus on building stronger connection between instructor-learner in classroom, as it would better impact on the learning process. That's all from us. See you next time!